All right. So to continue, we just finished high will, low ability, and now we'll do the opposite where we've got low will but high ability. Sometimes that lone wolf type individual, right? That's how do you like? Tell me about that. What do you look for? How do you handle it?
Well, this kind of person warrants a very stern conversation. That our roles, their role, as well, it contributes to something that's much bigger than ourselves. No company can run with one person. We rely on other people to make this company great, and they rely on you too. That's what I would say. Clearly, these people in this quadrant are suboptimizing the organization overall. They're taking from the organization while not giving as much as they should. You mentioned lone wolves. I would put them in that category as well. Although some of them are, at least lone wolves can be performers. It's not even required that you be a great performer in order to be in this category. But at least if they're lone wolves, they're strong. They can catch enough food for themselves, but they don't really care what happens to the pack, and that's the problem.
Yeah, so this is really important. We both helped a number of companies, and this shows up a lot in companies I think that are trying to break out and get to the next level, and they've made it through brute force with a certain collective of people. And it's the company's responsibility in large part to harness whatever good those folks are doing and to ensure they give back to the new people. They have to be willing in some way to contribute back and help the company to the next level. If they're not, that to me is probably the worst offense. And then the company's responsible to take action at that point.
And it leads to some other things. You'll start to see some other traits emerge from these people and then potentially others, such as entitlement, where you might hear the person say, well, I don't have to do XYZ things that you have to do because I always make my number, or I'm bulletproof, or the boss's boss loves me, or whatever. That creates all kinds of problems. It creates or can create cultural friction. Others see them as not being part of the team, or they're representing negative characteristics that are not in alignment with our core values of the company or the function. And then eventually their minimum behavior starts to appear from others because they're like, well, if that person can do it or not do it, then I don't have to do it either. And then you have this flywheel effect of drag on the system and or resentment from others. And none of this leads to a good outcome.
No. How it usually shows up from my experience, what I've seen, there's usually a group of ultra high performers that blow their quota away, and then the rest of the company isn't making their number, nor is the company. So those folks are being rewarded for their behavior by being entitled, even though they're not willing to help the company to the next level, and the company suffers.
And sometimes the boss, whoever that person's boss is or manager, has to have a lot of fortitude and courage to take them out of the business. And I'll give you an example of a person who I inherited one time who had just closed the biggest deal the company has ever seen by an order of magnitude the prior year. And then I inherited him, and halfway through the year, I'm starting to see that he's not really doing what we're asking. He's not even achieving the baseline that we've tried to train him to, even though he was a really good performer for a number of years and then did this huge deal. So I coached him sternly and said that he was going to be removed from the business if he didn't shape up. And I don't mean at the gym. So he didn't. And he said, you're not going to take me out because the person who's the CEO won't let that happen. We're good friends and I produce. So I went to the CEO just to give him a heads up that I was going to fire this person and that if he had a problem with it, he can have my badge right now. because he's a detriment to the team and he's hurting the company. So I just laid it on the line with the CEO. He said, I'll back you up. So I fired the guy.
That's a good CEO. We're gonna pause on that one.